That is a personal best for me. Oh my God. All right, so we're right on the water, or right on the main road through the town that I'm in. So I don't know if you can hear me all that well. Hopefully you can. But I've fished this spot a couple times growing up, and I've never actually caught anything, but it always seems juicy. I already got it stuck in grass, cast it a little far. It's a little overcast today, so I'm kind of hoping that gets the fish awake and moving around. And I came here because there's a lot of cover. So I'm kind of hoping that with it being overcast, they're gonna be wanting top water. It is a little later in the morning. One thing I am gonna try doing a little differently today is I'm gonna fish this spot faster, just cause, you know, there's no point casting the same spot if I'm not catching anything. So we're gonna throw a couple casts in each spot, move, and then probably go and try and find a different pond to fish. I have one in mind, so I don't know if it's any good, but I've fished, in a different video, I fished the pond next to it, but not the pond that I'm gonna go to. So we are gonna make a couple casts per area. Unfortunately, there's some other people fishing here, so I might not get to fish the entirety of this, just because of the fact that they're here and I'm not gonna impede where they're fishing. I'm not gonna cut them off and fish where they're fishing. It is starting to drizzle, so hopefully it doesn't start pouring rain, because that'll make it difficult to fish here. Could go get my rain jacket. I'm not gonna lie, these cypress stumps give me PTSD every time I'm around them. I don't know if you can see them, these right here, because when I was a kid I jumped on one on accident and impaled my foot, so I kind of get nervous standing around them. I remember when I was a kid, the fishing rod that I was using, I didn't really understand how to set it up a whole lot, and I couldn't cast to the other side of this. I was only casting to the middle, but now I have a little bit more understanding of how to get farther cast, and I'm actually getting over to the other side. So we're gonna see if pulling it all the way across the top of the water through the middle is actually a good thing, or if I should just be fishing along the bank. So unfortunately, I don't know how deep the water is in the middle or on the other side. So what I'm trying to do, the way I'm trying to work this right now, is cast it all the way to the other side up along the brush, and then slow work it back. Well, not necessarily slow work it, but just reel it in. Reel, stop, reel, stop. I'm alternating my retrieves this time, see if that makes a difference. But again, I don't know how deep it is in the middle, so I don't know if they're sitting under this brush, because this looks like a canopy. So it looks like there's the ability to go under it. So I'm trying to get it out there and drag it across the middle to see if they possibly come out from where they're at on the bottom. The thing is, when I go out fishing, I try to think, if I were a bass, where would I sit? But to be honest, I don't think I'd be a very good bass, because where I cast, thinking, you know, with this line of thought, I don't catch anything. So something tells me that I wouldn't be very good at being a bass. I also pulled the GoPro up a little bit, because it seemed, in the last couple of videos that I filmed, it seemed like it was facing too much towards the ground. So hopefully you're still getting like the rod and the reel, because that's kind of what I want you to be able to see, is like right here. But I also want you to mainly see like what's going on out there. Well, oh my goodness. You want to talk about nervous. I'm trying to film this and not lose this, and then I get it stuck in a tree. Oh my God, now it's trying to kill me. See, I gotta get my depth perception a little better when it comes to fishing, because while I cast out there, like that one looked like it was going straight for the tree. One thing that I like about this bait too, is this is technically considered a search bait, because you're covering water quickly. So this is not only gonna get a gnarly topwater bite when and if it gets bit, but it's also helping me figure out for later videos where fish are at. Because only throwing this for the whole video or multiple videos is I'm just searching for bass. And because these lily pads are right here and I can't obviously get into the middle of them because the type of bait I'm throwing, we're gonna make a couple of casts around it in all directions. Try and get it as close to the pads as possible. I'm trying to get around these pads. You wanna cast out past it instead of trying to get right next to it, because the action of this bait, you wanna drag it in front of the pads like this. So if you get it right in front of it and let it sit, you're not gonna get a full action in front of the pads. So if you cast it out there and then roll it by it instead of putting it right next to it, you have a higher chance of something coming out of that patch of pads. So I know I just came from there, but the reason that I'm throwing my cast back that direction is because the whole time I've been wanting to cast in front of this bank, like run it along the bank, but the problem is because of all the grass, all the vegetation, I'm not able to do that. Where right here, if you notice, the vegetation kind of loops back and comes back into this little point right here. I'll be able to run it in front of the vegetation a little bit better, just in case there's anything tucked up under it or in it. One thing that I'm figuring out that I really need to work on is the not getting fixated on an area and staying in that area for way too long. And that's kind of what I'm doing now, but I don't really want to give up on those lily pads. They look good, but if nothing bit when I ran it past it a couple times, chances are nothing's gonna bite now, but a couple more tries doesn't hurt. The only thing that kind of sucks is the people that were here earlier, if they were fishing probably for a while out here, so they were casting. So if there are any bass in this area, it's gonna be kind of hard to follow them because they spooked them all. And if that's not really how it works, that's my excuse for the day. You always gotta have an excuse lined up, so if you get skunked, it's never your fault. It couldn't be my fault because I'm good at this. It's the bass's fault, it's the fish fault. See, little spots like this, I don't necessarily mind spending a bit more time at, just because it looks good, on top of the fact that with these pads right here and this little opening between the pads and this grass, this vegetation, you can just let it sit in there for a second. So spending a couple more casts here isn't gonna hurt because of the fact that you can just keep doing it. You know, maybe one time a fish happens to see it and decides that they want to eat it. See this spot, like I said, with the flat of vegetation, it's all around here. This spot I'm going to probably spend a couple more casts at, just because of the fact that it loops all right through there, and I'm going to try and put it on the front of this flat of vegetation, muck, grass, whatever you want to call it. Ooh, there's a baby gator jay chilling right there. Hopefully I can get a picture of him for you guys before he goes under. He's small enough, that means mom's around here somewhere. He's cute though. So for those of you who don't know, when it comes to gators, if you measure the distance from the tip of their nose to the middle of their eyes, that's how you can roughly tell how big they are. So he's probably 2 feet, 2.5 feet. But with baby gators, mom hangs around until they're roughly 4 feet. So if he's under 4 feet, that means there's a much bigger mom around who probably wouldn't like me being this close to her mom or to her babies. Fortunately though, he's not making the noise that tells his mom he's afraid. Gators have, I guess it's called you could call it a bark. I'll see if I can find the noise. I don't know if I'd call it a bark, but I'll put an audio clip of the noise that they make for you. So if you're ever around a baby gator and it's making that noise, he's calling for his mom. He's saying, hey, I'm in trouble. I'm not doing all right. But fortunately enough, he's not making that noise, so he doesn't necessarily see me as a threat right now. But that doesn't mean I should hang out here longer. I don't feel like having a conversation with his mom. She's kind of mean. All right, so where we're at now, we're just on this little dock. This water is extremely deep right here, or the water is just extremely dirty. But getting out here a little bit farther allows me to get up on the front of that flat of vegetation over there. So we're gonna try and get as close to it as we can. And then once we're done fishing this little spot right here, we're gonna move to a different pond. See if we can go get something over there. All right, so we moved to a different pond. This one is right next to a different pond that I fished. I've never fished this one, and it looks good, but there's not a lot of vegetation around the outsides. So we're gonna see if we can get something to bite. And judging by the other pond, this one's probably up, because the other one, the walkway that you can use to walk around the pond, is completely covered. So there might or might not be any fish. But because the way this pond is designed, I might have a little bit better chance casting out into the water versus having to just fish the outskirts, because the outskirts are very shallow. So chances are a lot of my strikes from this pond are gonna be like 2 to 5 foot range and closer to the edge of the pond. Now, a good sign is I at least see some bait fish activity at the edge. Oh, and something hitting topwater. So hopefully this pond will produce a bite. And the fact that I don't think it's fished very often might mean that the fish will take the crawl color and bite it anyway. I did see something hit topwater, but I don't think it was necessarily a bass. Because with bass, when they hit topwater, you can almost hear like an inhale, like a suction of water. That one looked like it just kind of hit topwater. But I have a feeling, because this pond is getting hit by a little bit of wind, that this side of the pond is not going to be that great, because you can see over by that grass with the tree and everything that's blocking it, that there's flat water. So chances are on this side they're going to be a little more hunkered down, or they're all going to be on that side to get out of the wind. So we are going to just make a couple casts on this side to see if we can cover this water. More to say we did it, but then when we get over there, we're going to slow down and work the edge and the outside of more towards the middle of the pond a little more. Cool thing is there's a prey bird, there's ducks, and bait fish. So it's got to mean there's stuff big enough in this pond, especially if a hawk is hanging out or an osprey is hanging out around here. Chances are there's stuff in this pond that he wants to eat. Rude. Nice thing about this side of the pond too is it looks like it gets deeper. It looks like right off the front it just drops down. So I have a feeling, like I said earlier, this is going to be the side that I need to be on. The fish are going to... Oh, I say that, but he missed it. All right, hopefully he didn't move. Got one. That's a decent one too, ladies and gentlemen. that is a personal best for me. Oh my God. Dude, he's 3-4 pounds on the crawl. Colored whopper plopper. Ladies and gentlemen, we are moving on to the next one. I'm trying not to shake because that is a good looking fish. Whew. Barely hooked him too. That's what, oh my God. Just look at him. That mouth is huge. Thank you, Stinky. Whew. See if we can get it on a good release. Oh, not a good release at all on my part. Get out of here. That was terrible. And that right there is what makes, you might not catch nothing all day, but that right there, that 3-pounder, 4-pounder biting that right now. Ooh. My drag wasn't set. I was trying to keep tension on him and reel him in. Ooh. That was a personal best too on the whopper plopper. So one thing that I did learn on that one, he stayed there, which was awesome. But that one I reeled, stopped, and when I twitched it is when he went for it. I'm slap covered in mud because that release was terrible. All right, everyone, that concludes day 2 of the TikTok whopper plopper challenge for that lure, for the crawl color lure. Fortunately, we caught something, and it wasn't just something, it was my personal best. So that is fantastic to me that happened. So the next video, we're starting on the 2nd of 10. Can't wait to start that one and see if we can catch an even bigger one. See you guys in the next one.